Yeah, I'm playing paddle these days, Gary. That's my
That's good.
my
That's
fitness.
good. Nice.
Yeah,
What's the agenda for today, Quentin?
I'll take you through that as soon as everybody is here. I'm going to wait for the very last person to join, and then we'll start.
Tell me, what are you using to take minutes of this meeting for? Like, are you doing what Jeff uses, that Otter AI? What are you using?
I'm just using the AI in Zoom, not the Otter one. The Otter one is very good, but you've got to pay for that one. So, and the free one
I
is
think it's free for only 30. I think it's free for 30 minutes or something. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So I don't know who there's other people's Fireflies and Read AI that's in the meeting. Yeah, so I'm not sure who that is, but that's fine. They're welcome to record if they don't want
But
to.
does this Zoom one give a summary as well?
It actually is only a summary, so it's not a transcription. So it's if you want a transcription, you do need a Fireflies or an Otter or something like that.
Okay.
Or you could just actually take the actual video recording and put it into Otter and ask it to transcribe for you.
Okay.
Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, thanks, and yourself?
Good, good. Nice to see you again.
You too?
Hey, Jonathan, are you there?
How's it? How are you?
Fine, and you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks.
Nice to see you back.
Yeah.
Is
You
your
like my
your
camera?
camera not working?
Let me turn it on here.
There
Cool.
you
Can you
are.
see me?
Yeah, I just needed to check whether
Awesome.
you're a bot or a real person.
You can't make the camera compulsory, Quentin. It's not right. We can all just refuse.
Why does it have to be compulsory or not?
Dude,
You said you wanted on.
why wouldn't you want to show yourself? That's weird, dude.
No.
Eh?
That's
A meeting in
that's
a
a private.
corporate in the bathroom.
No, you may want to be, you don't have to, but Quentin's like on about it. So is it a fair question to ask if you want to put their video on? I mean, we can vote about it. It's like, it's free country, we can vote.
It's my meeting, so it's my rule. So yes, you have to put your camera on.
Well, mine may not be on the whole time.
Okay, good. Hi, Gunther. Hello, Ashley.
Hi there.
Hey, Nishan, how are you?
Hey, Quentin, what's happening?
Yeah, good to see you, man.
You too. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll just give everybody a few more minutes. Say hello to Jimmy. Jimmy, if you've got your camera, switch it on. Just say hello. Okay. So we can maybe I'll start sort of asking if anybody did their homework from last week.
Yeah, I used AI to do it.
Oh, you did my homework for me last week.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Esty made me do her.
Well, that's the beauty of hiring Quentin, is Quentin does it for you. That's the best bit.
That's you could have the DIY service or you can have the done for you service.
So you should have disclosed that at the end of the class last week.
That's true.
So good. Ashley, it's like, honestly, honestly, if you see what he produced, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So for those who weren't here last week, we asked everybody to go and build a GPT of their own. So I'm quite keen to see what you've done. Although, to be fair, we sort of rushed through it in the end because we had a lot of explaining to do about the group and where we're going and what we're planning to do in future. So we didn't get to the tutorial very quickly. So we rushed through it. And I just expected you all to kind of figure it out on your own. Jonathan, you're quite a technical oak. Have you built a GPT?
A very basic one, not at all technical, I would say.
Oh, okay.
It was, yeah, I know I did what I could. Unfortunately, I never had enough time to actually delve into it as much as I would have liked.
Okay, awesome. Well done. Okay, so yeah, for a few people who weren't here last week, I'm just going to ask everybody to introduce themselves again in the chat. If you guys wouldn't mind just kind of briefly say what you do and your experience with AI, if it's from 1 to 10, your proficiency, and what your favorite bot is or your favorite tool, AI tool that you use. So if everybody can just kind of do that again. If you did it last week, please do it again because there's new people. And the format of this is a discussion. So it is we're sharing with one another, and it's not a sort of monologue from my side, hopefully. And yeah, everybody can just kind of talk about their things. Hi, Louisa.
Hello, hi everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, Ralph, how are you?
Yes, good, Quentin.
Good.
Very good, thank you.
Ralph, you have to have your camera on, so
Do I? Is that the rule? Okay.
That's the rule, yeah.
I'm in my casual clothes today.
That's
You
okay.
can
Yeah, we
rebel,
got
Ralph.
a-
You can be rebellious and turn it off. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it off, but I'll just say how's it. Yeah, my favorite tool is ChatgPT, and I did create my
Yes.
GPT, by the way,
So-
just to
so
let you know.
Are you going to be able to share it with us? Show it to us on the share screen or not?
No, I'm not. I'm just on my phone here. Sorry, I can't share with you guys
Okay.
today, but I'm in on the session for the whole session. All right.
Okay, great. All right. Well, Ralph, then even if you can't share, just give us an idea of what you built.
Yeah, so quickly, I built a executive assistant. So in ChatGPT, I subscribed to it. I think it was the $20 which you mentioned.
Awesome.
And then yeah, I've started giving my assistant all my tasks in the day and my regular stuff and some of my meetings, and so I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But it's quite powerful, and it comes up with some really clever suggestions around how I can be more productive in my day. So
Excellent.
I'm working. Where I'm struggling still is it doesn't see my calendar, so I'm kind of feel I'm doing a little bit of extra work at the moment.
Yeah.
But I still think the benefit of what it's given me is worth me doing that extra work. So it's very exciting.
Awesome. Yeah. Did you do a couple of iterations, or did you just kind of set it up once, give it instructions, and away you go? Or did you go back in and fix a few things?
Yeah, I went back in, fixed a few things, tried a few different things, and came back with different results.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll keep you posted, Quentin, how that goes. But so far, it's going nicely.
Okay. No, that's excellent. Well, this is kind of what I want, is for you guys to let me know how you are doing with it. Is there anyone else who gave it a bash, who built a GPT, that just want to quickly tell us what you did? Louisa?
Okay, so hope I'm saying this right. So I tried this new one called Switch Wow.
Okay, what is that? A new tool, AI tool?
So it's a new one with regards to a creative kind of resource.
Okay.
And AI, yeah. So it kind of gives you like that's the paid version, and then you get another version as well. But the paid version is quite nice. It shows you journey maps. So in part of change management and kind of, you use some of those to help you and facilitate that. So that's quite a nice little tool. And I was just playing around with it yesterday, the non-paid version.
Yeah.
You just want to see if this is something you can use in your business before you go into the paid version. But it was really, really such a nice tool.
Okay, awesome. All right. Anybody else? No. Okay, so I'm going to actually just go, give it a little bit more of a background on GPTs. For those of you who knows how this works, and this is old news, just stick with me, and maybe there's a couple of extra things that you don't know. Hopefully that you'll learn from this. But if you go into your, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if you go into ChatGPT, you'll see on the side here, there's a button called Explore GPTs. So if you click on that, you'll get to the screen where all your GPTs are. So your normal screen, just for those, when you get started, looks like that. And yeah, you change between GPT-4 and GPT 3.5. GPT-4 is the paid version, and you have to have the paid version to have the GPTs. And these are all the GPTs. So these are the ones that have been built by other people. So in essence, what a GPT is just a specialized version of GPT. It is created to do a specific function, or just to run something specific. And the great thing about it is that it actually has been trained by specialized information. So for instance, these are the top picks of the week. Personal color analysis, the person who created that has fed this little bot with some information around how to do a color analysis. And, so when you go in there, you can ask questions about that. Or whimsical diagrams, it's actually quite a nice one. This one is in terms of, you can give it some, just a whole lot of text, and you ask it to put it into a mind map or into a flow chart or something like that. It's quite cool. Book creators, Gauntlet, those are just sort of the top picks of the week. Then there's trending ones. Here's a Write For Me one, Canva one. I highly suggest you also use that one, because usually even if you have Canva and you have the paid version, you might get stuck with a blank canvas, and you sit there and you're like, I don't know where to start. And you've got all these pictures that you can, and templates and stuff you can use, but you literally don't, you just need something to start working with. This Canva one is quite good. Logo creator, I don't know. I haven't really found a tool that makes a good logo straight up, or something that you could use. And then ChatGPT's DALL-E, the data analyst, all of those sort of stuff is there. And then it goes into sort of categories, writing, and these are just 6. You can click on see more and you'll see a lot more for that. There's productivity ones, and research and analysis, programming, education, lifestyle. So those are the big buckets, or the big categories that are out there that you can do. So what you can do then is you click on the create button, or I can go to my GPTs. I'll just show you, these are sort of all the ones that I've created. The latest one is Chef Jacobs, and that's the one because we always have an issue at home to create a meal and what the meal plan is for the week, and menus and that sort of stuff. So I fed it with all our favorites and that sort of stuff, so we can ask them, okay, what's for dinner tonight? The marketing muse is the one I'll just show you how to get build a senior, or build an assistant that is a senior copywriter, article expert. Here's an interesting one for the African Academy of Artificial Intelligence. All I did there, just as a quick sort of bot that we built, is I told the bot, to reference our website and to look at all the pages on the website. And then when I ask it to write, or when we need an article written, or a blog or something to that effect, I can just go and explain to it what I want written, but with the knowledge of what is on the website. So tell me more about what the AAAI does, and what sort of packages do you present, what modules do you teach. All of that sort of stuff can then just be asked in the bot, and it can be answered quite quickly. So you don't have to keep every time you do a prompt, retell the bot about your business and what you do. You just give it a link to your website, and then you can obviously still link up files and things like that. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff that I've built over here. and just playing with this tool. My favorite one so far has been this fictional product image creator. Is basically you just give it a brand name, a product name, and a slogan, and it'll make up something for you. So I literally asked it to do Coca-Cola, a spinach soda, and I left the slogan blank, and it came up with a whole, sort of image and a brand and a whole thing around spinach soda and what that would look like with a green bottle and all of that sort of stuff. So those are my GPTs. But if you want to create your own, there's a big green button there that says create, and you basically come up with this screen. On your left-hand side, you got the create, which is a guided version where the ChatGPT will help you to build it, what it is that you want. So you see there, it tells you, I'll help you build the GPT. You can tell it what you want and it'll start building, or you can just go to configure and literally you can go put in the instructions and all of that stuff yourself, so that you can, get your GPT sort of specialized or customized just for yourself. So I want to show you guys what that. I'm going to skip forward. So if you like, for instance, that marketing news one, which is basically a copywriting chatbot, I used the guided version. And there you can see that ChatGPT has asked me what I want to make. And then I said I would like to create an assistant that acts as a senior marketing copywriter. I will provide these documents, and I tell her which documents, the brand voice, the keyword list, the writing style, all of that sort of stuff I will provide. And then it tells me, ChatGPT says, how about this name? And I said, yeah, sure, because I'm not planning on selling this bot. I'm just planning to use it internally. And then here's the profile picture. I said, that's cool. You can upload your own logo there if you want to. And then you start going back and forth basically with ChatGPT on what it is that you want to do. It asks you what language or sort of tone you want to use. And then, it sort of asks you all sorts of guiding questions until you get to the GPT, the exact GPT that you want. And the whole time that you're filling this information on the right-hand side, you'll see the chatbot taking shape. So you can see there's the marketing news, and it even gives some suggested questions there that the bot will provide you for when you come into it and try to use it. So that's how you get that going. And I'm just going to jump forward. On the left-hand side here, I've just prompted it just to test it to see what it does, and if it behaves the way it's supposed to. And then I can jump over to the other tab and just fine-tune. Basically, I can go look at what it's written there, and I can fine-tune it and make it more, the type of bot, or do the type of things that I want it to do. So that is how, in a quick tutorial again, is how you would create it. And once you've done that, you just hit you'll see there's a save button that comes up. Actually, let me just go out, and I'll go to one of my other GPTs. I go to this writer menu, and yeah, if you come back, you can say edit GPT. So just get back to your GPT, and you can click update, and then where you can copy a link and send it to somebody. Let me just change something over here so I can. Oh, it's just going to update it. Okay, but you can publish it. You get the published, or if you're publishing it for the first time, you will from this button over here. You can publish it to yourself or to everybody with a link, or you publish it to the whole wide world, so that anybody can basically access your GPT. So that.
So Quentin,
yes.
So I don't know whether you can see my hand raised. I thought, let me just add something.
Yes, please.
So I got my avatar on because I'm busy drinking wine because it's
Ah,
it's Friday. So I've got my avatar on, so you don't see me drinking
very
wine.
fancy.
So I was just going to add that what's nice is when you do use the assistant, it's always nice to then have a look at how the GPT has coded it under the configure. So it actually adds instructions because it helps to improve your prompts. So by using the assistant, when you finally finish configuring it, you can actually see how short the instructions is on configure. So it's nice to go and check it because it often teaches you a little bit about prompts. And then the other thing which I learned this week, which I think is useful, is that we often forget that there's a voice-activated assistant on the mobile version of ChatGPT
Right.
page.
Yeah.
So if you can create your own GPTs, it means you have the mobile version. If you have the mobile version, it means it has a voice.
Yes.
And so what I did recently is on my GPTs, I actually added a voice. So for instance, I added, please change my voice to a helpful female voice as an example. And other things you can do that I learned this week is you can actually make it sound very conversationalist.
Yeah.
There we go. Is by saying, please add ums and ahs and sound very natural. And then what it will do is it will actually reply when it's giving you an answer, it will sound a lot more realistic than the normal robot voice. So add it as part of your instructions when you're coding the GPT, because when people use it on the mobile version, then it's added functionality. Or if you're using on the mobile version, it's added functionality.
Okay, that's very good to know. Yeah, the voice one is quite nice to have when, even as a sort of a transcriber, whenever you out and about and you have some ideas, you just kind of use ChatGPT to transcribe for you with a voice activated one. So that's very cool. Thank you, Nishan. Okay, cool. Are there any other questions around GPTs? Because I still want everybody to at least have a go and build themselves one of these. So for next week,
Quentin,
yes, Ralph.
I'll just be quick. Sorry, I didn't realize you could use voice. That's quite handy. Because when I type into my GPT, can I talk to you? Can I use my voice to you to take instructions?
Yeah.
And the answer I got back was no, I can't. I have to type. But now I've realized I've learned something there that sounds like on the mobile version you can actually talk to it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just have a quick question about when you share a GPT with somebody else, like for example, you said if they have the link to it, they can access it. Can they edit your GPT as well, or is it just use it?
No, they can't edit it unless they are in your team. So there's the team account version. So if you're in an organization and you invite a bunch of people to your GPT and you share it, then they can access and change it. So, but not if you're two separate accounts, then they can't edit it because it will show up on their thing as my GPT, for instance.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions about GPT?
Sorry, and then Quentin, I just to add is just make sure your billing address on your GPT account is the name that you want to publish your GPT on. So what it does is publishes under the name of your billing address. So for instance, my billing address was my company name, but I might want to publish my GPT under my own name. Correct. Otherwise, you publish it as a GPT community builder, which is very generic. So if you want to build a brand around yourself and the GPTs you create, then be very, how can I say, be purposeful about how you name that GPT, and it comes from your billing address. Wherever it debits the account. So I just Quentin, you pick up these things as you go through it, and then it's useful. It
actually raises a good point as well. I've been mainly sort of talking about creating a GPT for your internal use. If you want to use it as an external sort of brand building type of tool. You can also do that and make that available, say, to your clients and stuff. Then what you do is you let your clients use it and ask it questions and learn about a specific topic or learn about your brand. And then you can also train the GPT to keep referencing your website. So for more information, go to my website and things like that. So you can create a nice loop where people, every time they ask a question, you say, to learn more, go to me or contact me, book a meeting with me, whatever it is. If you're doing sort of lead generation, you can do it in that way. So very useful in that sense. Yes, Louisa.
Sorry, just a quick one. Sorry, Quentin. Can you archive it?
Your chats or the
content?
Your conversations you can archive. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Actually, the best way to do it is just to share your conversations. No, not the GPTs. This is a conversation. You can share it. It doesn't. It's not explicitly saying archive. It says share it, and then it creates a link which you can then reference later. I create bookmarks in my browser, which you'll see here. These are GPTs that I've just kind of bookmarked that I want to keep and refer to later. These are my GPTs that I built. So this is how I sort of keep my GPTs. In the same way, I've got a list of AI tools of things that I want to keep, and I've categorized them like this. So I can, if I want an image generators, there's all sort of the latest and greatest image generators that are out there. So quite useful in that sense as well. Just to keep track of everything that you do. Okay, great. So I just want to mention also the thing about GPTs and why I carry on about it and I'm excited about it. It's kind of a starting of the next phase of AI, because we had the ChatGPT, which is quite general and does a lot of things great, but it's not specific to specific tasks. The GPTs, which is, by the way, Copilot has also got a version of GPTs now, and I think Gemini has also got that built in. But the next step or the next level that's coming is AI agents, and that's a little bit further down the line. And your guess is as good as mine in terms of when that's going to happen. But an AI agent is basically a self-autonomous assistant that can do stuff completely on their own. So they can literally take control of your PC, of your laptop, which is quite scary, and it has all the privacy issues associated. But an AI agent is basically going to be able. You're going to tell it what you want it to do, and it'll go to click on the different functions or the different apps that is on your laptop, and it'll open it up and start doing stuff on its own. So that's what the AI agents is going to be eventually. So instead of all these GPTs, you're going to have different agents that's going to be doing different things for you. And you can basically would be able to train them. So you could literally say switch on an agent and say go into learn mode, and then you show it on the computer how you put together a brand plan or how you go about doing research to write an article, and it'll watch you, and then later on you can just say go create the brand plan, and it'll do it for you. So that's where all of this is going. So again, Gary, you got an advertising agency. So literally what could be in the future is where somebody could say, I want an advertising agency, and somebody has put together a bunch of agents, the one that's a copywriter, the one that's a graphic designer, and one that's this strategy person. And I can then sign up and say, okay, I want access to this agency of agents, that will do stuff for me. And so those are all things that we have to keep in mind, that where AI is moving to, and that could change the way we work in future. So, right. Anything else about the GPTs and those sort of things? I want to. A big part of the GPTs is, it's kind of taking a step back, is doing the prompt engineering. So I actually want to just kind of show you guys a quick lesson in terms of how you go about when you create a prompt. So this is useful when you have regular ChatGPT conversations or Claude conversations or Perplexity or whatever it is. I use this acronym called SCRIBE. Basically, what it does is you say you specify a role, you provide the context, you create a responsibility, and you give instructions. You have some banter, and eventually you evaluate the work that is given to you. So with that as an outline, if let's say I take, for instance, the S, specify a role. This is where you see people say, chatbot, you are an expert copywriter, or act as an experienced business consultant, or act as somebody with a high IQ, or tell it you have 30 years of experience in human resources, and and before you start doing the rest of the prompt. So you just set it up for the chatbot. So then you start providing context and clarity, share relevant background, context details, and also who the intended audience is, provide examples. This is what they call the few shot method or strategy, basically where you can say, okay, I'm going to ask you questions like these, and then you can kind of give it Q&A and say, if this is an example of a question, this is the example of the answer I want you to give. And then again, you can give it 3 like that, and then you ask it your question. So that's kind of training the bot on your preferences. The more context, the better. Use delimiters. So use the brackets and all the different types of brackets just to compartmentalize it for the chatbot, so it understands how you are thinking and how it needs to approach, and what sentences relates to what. So make it as clear as possible. You can refer to books as on the topic. So write as if you're the author of whichever book it is that's relevant. That's quite a useful one. And then the less the model must guess what you want, the more likely you'll get it. So use that as a guide. And then responsibility, you tell it, clearly outline the task or the responsibility, be as specific, and give it step-by-step instructions. And then a good one is to tell it, explain it to me like I'm 8. When you're doing a summary, for instance, that's a nice one to often include. And then the instruction, your task is you must outline the steps that you want the bot to take. Use reference. You can ask it to use reference text. As we know, the bots often hallucinate. So what we want to make sure is that it tells us where it got that information from. And most of the bots are now connected to the internet, even ChatGPT, and it will give you a little citation of where that information comes from, so you can double check it. And then the format. If you, for instance, want it in a table, you can say, I want a 2-column spreadsheet. I want the rows must be the months of the year, the columns must be categories. You can be very specific on what you want it to look like. If you don't just want bullet points or just headlines and paragraphs. And then you can tell it how long you want it to be, preferred tone or style. And this is a new one that I saw people saying, tell it there must be no yapping, because as we know, the chatbots like to yap often. So it sort of talks and gives you all sorts of garbage and things in between the stuff that it's actually giving you. You can tell it to avoid by, don't give me any yapping, just give me the answer. And then the banter is an interesting one. Don't always accept the first iteration that it gives you. Go back and forth with the bot and engage in a conversation with it to refine and improve on its initial response. Think outside the box. That's a prompt that I often give it as well. Just and say to it, be unusual and be unconventional, because often the bots just go with the first answer that comes to mind. If you remember how the bots work, they're literally just predicting the next word. So they're going to find the one that's most commonly used or the most common answers. So you can actually, keep going back and forth and say, no, give me more. I need something that's unusual, that no one else has come up with. Keep trying again, and then give it permission to ask clarifying questions. So often we say, do this, and we don't tell the bot, actually, you're welcome to ask me any clarification questions that you don't understand about the instructions that I give you. And then, it's often it's as simple as just use human communication skills. Is how would you brief in a system? Or if it's somebody that comes to work with you, brand new, haven't worked at your company, how would you brief that person and be thorough in terms of explaining everything that you want from that person? You can use the same with the bots. And then ask clarifying questions. Don't make any assumptions. You can tell the bot about that. So that the bot often, if it doesn't have the answer, it might make up something, and it often does. So that's why this prompt is important to give to the bot, and then give it permission to say, I don't know. I think often again the bots will, even if it doesn't know, it doesn't have the information, just so it doesn't look bad, it's going to make up something. And so therefore, if you tell it, if you don't know, say, I don't know. So that makes it a little bit clearer. And then finally, the evaluation. Evaluate everything it gives you, review the responses for accuracy. And then you can even ask the bot to evaluate itself or the effectiveness of its answer. You can say, critique the above. You can, sort of say, give your answer a score out of 1 to 10, and tell me how good was your answer. And if it gives you an answer, I think my answer was a 6, then you say, what can you do to improve that answer and make it a 10? And then there's a regenerated button underneath the answers. Hit that as often as you like, and then ask in the end, is there anything that you missed that you think you should be telling me? So you can use all of these sort of things to come up with a better answer. So that's the scribe model. A couple of other tips. Prompt for prompt advice. If you don't know how to write a prompt, ask the bot and say, please tell me how I should write the prompt. It seems like you're not understanding what I'm telling you, so please tell me how I should ask this question if this is the result that I want. That's a good one to use. Give the model time to think. Tell it, take your deep breath, take more steps, use a longer chain of thought. Start with an outline, summarize long documents piecewise, and then construct a full summary recursively. I know we often like to throw in a long piece of content, a long PDF document, and we say, summarize this for me. And you're probably not going to get what you like, because I believe that the bot is going to focus on the first part and the last part of that content and sort of forget about the middle part. That's why it may be wise to just go and summarize chapter by chapter, then put it together and say, now summarize the summaries for me. So that's maybe just a better way to do summaries. Create a group of tasks. I don't know if this works. Somebody you can try and say, I'm going to tip $100 for a better solution. They say that incentivizes the bot. And then use do's instead of don'ts. Okay. So now that I've said all of that, there's actually a tool. It's called GPT for Work, where you can go put all of these things in, and then it will create a prompt for you at the bottom. And so you can then just kind of change the prompt as you go, and then copy the prompt in the end and take it across to ChatGPT and let ChatGPT do it for you. Also a cool thing now, Claude has got a whole prompt library. So whether you're using Claude or not, you could just go to the Claude website, and it's got a whole bunch of prompts there that you can kind of use anywhere. It doesn't have to be on Claude itself, but that's a good place to go. I want to show you a quick video, but you're going to have to read fast because the video goes pretty quickly. But this is a good example of, where sometimes you think the bot knows what you know, or you think it thinks the way that you think. So have a look at this one. And there you go. So, so you might think the AI knows what you're talking about when you say lettuce. Make sure it does. Nishan, you got your hand up.
Oh yeah, Quentin. I just wanted to say there's a nice little hack on a paid up account for the first couple of letters of your scribe. So if you go to your account on the bottom left, and you go to customize your GPT, it will then allow you, if you are always asking the GPT questions in one type of personality and context. So if you're always asking it as a as a marketing manager, and you always want it to answer in a certain way, then there it is. Then you can actually put that down, and so it will always remember that context when you're asking a GPT a question. I found that helpful. I don't always ask as the same. I don't always have the same context, but I found that other people have found it quite helpful.
Yeah, no, this is a good one to point out. You can actually write, what would you like GPT to know about you to provide a better response, and how would you like the ChatGPT to respond? And you can switch it on or you can switch it off, depending on whether you want it to use this as a background. Cool, very good one. Thank you, Nishan. All right, any other questions or comments? I've talked a lot, so now it's up to you guys. More questions relating to prompting or GPTs or anything else?
Quentin, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Would I be able to create some kind of a support desk like type of bot where our customers can ask questions and we can train it how to answer our customers on our products?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You could do that with ChatGPT or the GPTs the way we did it now. But what you would need to do then is link it across into a website. So you're going to need a third-party piece of software to let it sit on your bot. Otherwise, you're going to have to ask your customers to come to ChatGPT, and then they're going to have to have a paid-for account, which is not ideal. You probably want your chatbot to sit on your account. So you're going to need, I think, off the top of my head, there's a software called VoiceFlow, which you can then connect to the GPT. So the GPT is running in the background, but VoiceFlow just makes it sit on your website, like the bots that you often see, this support desk bots and things like that you connect it to. But if you want to know more about that, Ralph, I think I've got one or two YouTube videos on how to do that.
Thank you. That's excellent answer. Thanks, Quentin.
Okay, great. Any other comments on that? No. All right. So the other thing that I said we could also do in this group is just discuss sort of the latest news, but I want to focus the news on things that are sort of not sort of too much in the technical or too much out there in terms of things that are not relevant to us. So I just kind of grabbed a couple of news articles. I called it the Skinner News about AI. So it's two things that caught my eye this week is Elon Musk's Grok. As he's now sort of revealed his code, it's now an open code. What do you call it? Chatbot. So anyone can kind of use the coding of that and create their own bots. And this sort of comes hot on the heels of Musk suing OpenAI because they're not being as open as they said they were going to be. And he said days after the lawsuit, Musk said that he would drop the case if OpenAI changed their name to Closed AI. So it's a little bit typical, I think, old Elon Musk. Here's a good one for those of you into soccer. Google DeepMind has introduced Tactic AI, and they're working with Liverpool. It's obviously not worked last weekend and advises coaches. Saudi Arabia is building their own large language model. They're spending $40 billion on that. So it's an interesting to watch. And then Fitbit is going to integrate a lot more AI stuff into their products in terms of helping with fitness. So here's a big one. Gary, I know you're a Copilot fan with Microsoft. They've literally in the last couple of days hired Suleiman, who's from Inflection. And what this basically means that Microsoft is doubling down on talent as it races to other tech giants to put more AI tools in consumers' hands. So Copilot might get a makeover. And so Microsoft is basically putting a lot of money behind it and getting the top people in the AI world to come and work for them and make Microsoft better. And then NVIDIA, for those of you who don't know, it's basically the chips that run a lot of these servers where the AI big models are running on. And this is becoming a massive business. They have recently announced their annual reports, and their stock has soared by like 260%. So I think the stock markets are seeing this is the way to go. And then what NVIDIA has now come up with is that unveil a new generation of AI super chips that is destined to become the new industrial revolution. So these chips are just becoming better and better, and they're saying these chips shot up by 1,000x in the past 8 years. So the computing power, the hardware power behind the AI is going crazy. There you can see how that is developing. And AWS is using it, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, some of the platforms that have signed up with them. So they announced the project Groot, I suppose, would you announce that? Groot. And then Grok, which is not Elon Musk's Grok, but another company has also now jumped into this world of the hardware, the AI chips. They're building LPUs, and they reckon this is going to be 10 times faster than any of the other software. So very, very interesting there. Just an interesting news article or a research article that came out. They're saying the impact of AI is going to be biggest on IT jobs, which job departments will be, and then finance, customer sales, operation, HR sitting in the middle there, and then supply chain, funnily enough, won't be impacted that much. So Ralph, that's your customers, but I suppose IT is an interesting to take note of. And that's I'm not going to go through all of the news, but if you guys have got any sort of big news of AI and how and where it's applicable to us and how it's going to affect us, just let me know, and we can share that here. Okay, guys, Any other comments or chats from you guys? Ralph?
I was wondering whether anyone's used Copilot in SA. So I know there's an additional fee. I know there's some enterprise licenses, but I'm keen to hear if anyone's used Copilot and whether they've managed to kind of summarize their emails into context and generate PowerPoints, all the amazing things we've been seeing in the media, whether it's actually practically useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing some images on Copilot, so it's got a lot of different options. So I think Copilot's getting better and better. And yeah, we're still learning, obviously, but we're doing a few things on it, and it seems to be pretty good. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Gary, did you sign up for the $20 version of Copilot?
Not yet. We haven't got there yet, but we're trying to see what we can do for free to start with. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's obviously the Copilot chatbot, which anybody can go into and use, but it's I don't know if there's unless in the PowerPoint and the Word and Excel and those sort of things, I do think you have to pay more or go onto the paid version to get that. I know there's a difference between the applications on your desktop and the one that's in the cloud. So sometimes when you go to Microsoft 365 in the cloud, you might have more functionality there.
Yeah, it links into your knowledge base, they say. You link it all together. And there's a mobile application. But we find that you can tell it to draw a graph, show me a financial graph from this year to last year or something. And it'll, because of Excel and all the functionality it's got with all the properties and elements, it'll pull all that data together. So I'm quite interested to see how we can do that for financial reports, because financial reports are quite a mission.
Yeah.
And it's always, it takes too long. So if we can imagine just connecting it to all your assets, your knowledge graph, and then just giving it an instruction and it's done. So that could change the game. And I think that's the mission that we're on there, to try and connect everything up. But it's a long road, so we're just messing around right now.
Yeah.
But we have used it. We've used it for logos. We used it for images. We used it for a few things. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Jonathan? Oh, you're mute.
Sorry about that. Okay. So just to answer there on the Copilot, it is really useful with the full version. However, you do need Windows 11 to get the full functionality of it.
Right.
Yeah, and also it ultimately, especially if you're looking for emails, it is great when you want it to help you like writing drafts and responding to things quicker. It can't really help you with major summaries and things. It still struggles quite a bit. It probably will improve reasonably soon, especially considering that it's built on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT 5 is coming out pretty soon. So I think as soon as that is implemented, it should get a lot better. But at the moment, it still has a long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one thing, it actually uses ChatGPT 4 for free on Copilot. You just turn it on.
Yeah, but ChatGPT 5 is coming out, and Copilot being built on ChatGPT is likely to implement that at some stage, hopefully soon.
Yeah. But it's so interesting that, this help me write function. It's like, it's almost everything has got that built in now. So if you open up your Chrome browser, it's got help me write built into Chrome browser. And then if you go into a Google Doc, the Google Doc itself has got a help me write functionality in it. And then if you've got like a sidebar of a tool like Harper or one of those, it'll help you write. So everybody wants to help you write all the time if you've got switched on. So so it's quite interesting how all of these guys are competing for space. Nish?
It's helping in the Google ads as well. It can help you write the ads, and there's ChatGPT and some of the plugins we use like Optio and these things. They're quite cool. Yeah.
Nisha?
I mean, I was well, just on Gary's point. I mean, it's really useful. I've seen use cases in terms of sales, because what you do is you can say, summarize all the information you have on the specific client and tell me any outstanding issues. And it's meant to scan through your email box, scan through your documents, summarize that, so that because salespeople are notoriously bad with admin. And so this helps them keep really updated to what the client is outstanding, an email, a document, a invoice, etc. So I've seen some really good use cases on sales, but to Jonathan's point, I mean, it's got to be integrated. You know, it's got to be able to, if you think of knowledge, the knowledge you put into the ChatGPT, it's got to actually use that knowledge. And I don't think it's necessarily doing that. But I was just going to say there's an interesting, not experiment, but a high school teacher found an interesting way to catch out the students in GPT, because you're talking about, you know, like there's so many options for writing. And so in education, we know there's a massive problem right now. And how do you know if something's been written by an AI or not? And so this high school teacher actually embedded in instructions, like in assignment instructions, embedded, please include the word Frankenstein in the middle, right in the middle of the assignment instructions. And then what she did was she made it the same color as the page. So she made the text white and she reduced that size. And so naturally a student would just copy and paste the instructions into GPT because that's exactly the context.
Yeah.
And then actually the GPT, the large language model, would use that hidden text, because the hidden text is just a visual hide, right? It's not an actual data hide. And so it would, in the middle of this essay, it would include the word Frankenstein. And so all the teacher needed to do was search for if the essay had Frankenstein, and she would know it would be written by a GPT. So I found that really, really clever, like a Trojan horse inside an instruction. So quite often, you know, we want to give instructions to people and we want to test their ability for logical thinking. We don't want them to use AI, but we don't know how to determine that. And so these Trojan little instructions are really, I found them really interesting ways to actually keep people honest, if it was.
Oh my word. Yeah, that is very clever. I
know we're out of time, but I think what we discussed now, Nish, is the fact that you've got to tie it all together with your Microsoft elements. And I think that's going to be the tricky thing, is to make sure how you tie this Copilot together with all your assets and all your information. That's going to be something we need to learn. Maybe you can help us.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we saw, it's almost a year ago that that Microsoft came out with demos of how this is supposed to work, and it showed how things go from an email to a Word document to PowerPoint, and then it automatically creates slides for you, and then you can analyze it in Excel. But I haven't really seen any sort of how it actually comes together besides that demo that is now almost a year old. So I don't know if I'm missing.
Quentin, I asked it to build a website, and it just built me it built me a website, and that is quite like, dude, that's like a lot of money. And then the other thing is, you just say, put this whole document into a PowerPoint, and it's done.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to save a lot of time and cut a lot of jobs. These people that charge 25 grand for a PowerPoint, I don't think, they can't do that anymore. I don't know. We must see the quality of it. And the website.
Gary, is that Copilot as in the chatbot, or where did you do that?
I think it was on the desktop. I found it somewhere on the desktop. That's why I may be out of turn, but I asked it to build me a landing page. Now, a landing page can cost you 20 grand, and it built me a landing page in like 2 minutes, in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. I think because it's all disjointed, we need to learn how to do this. I think that's why we're here, because all these things, I've seen it now. It can build me a landing page, do a presentation, pull me a graph. It's all there. But now it's, how do we put this thing together and make sure we're pulling the right data, and we're not, and that's something that I don't know. I don't know those answers. That's why we're here.
All right, cool. Very good. Okay, everybody. Any more comments or questions? No?
Thanks, Quentin.
All right. I'll send out an invite for next week again, and we'll chat some more.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. That was excellent.
Thank you. Bye-bye.